indeed a distinct honor to present him today, introduce him. His bio is in the program, so I'm not going to read the whole thing. But Captain Lahti, U.S. Navy, became the 50th commanding officer of Naval Submarine Base New London in May of 2013. Prior to taking command of Subbase New London, he served as the Chief of Strategic Effects Division in the Directorate of Strategic Plans and Policy on the Joint Staff at the Pentagon. Captain Lahti.
Male Galbraith, Mr. Kinsel, I almost called him Captain Kinsel. He's in charge of sub-vets, so he's something like a captain. Members of Submarine Veterans World War II, ladies and gentlemen, thank you, and it is a wonderful opportunity to address you today, and I appreciate the invitation and opportunity to do that. Male Galbraith, thank you very much for this wonderful weather. It is absolutely amazing. I never thought spring would come, and it is a beautiful time here in southeastern Connecticut. It's a little chilly, but it's not bad, and it's a perfect time to be here on a beautiful sunny day. And also, thank you for the support that you give to the Navy in southeastern Connecticut. It's just amazing. Mel Galbraith is at everything. If there is some event, and she could possibly be, yeah, we'll give her a hand. She lends her presence to everything. If it's recognizing a kindergartner in a kindergarten class to events like this, to be with the President, she is there. And she is strongly a strong supporter of the Navy and the submarine force in southeastern Connecticut. Happy birthday to the submarine force. We celebrate our 115th birthday this year. Today's submarine force is the finest in the world, and I think the majority of us here would consider it the strong nucleus around the Navy, in which the Navy Air Forces and Surface Forces unite. And today I think I'll reflect a little bit on the past, which is our legacy, the present, which is today, and the future. And if we look at the future of the submarine force, we need to look no farther than the young men who are holding these flags surrounding us today, and about a mile down from here, the ships under construction at Electric Boat. With the United States Marine Corps and the United States Coast Guard, whose flags are hanging here today, our Navy forms the world's premier maritime team. Since our last submarine force birthday, we've been on station, around the world, and around the clock, deterring aggression, keeping sea lanes open for free trade, and when necessary, projecting power. We've sent a good number of our Groton submarines to sea on vital deployments, and we've also welcomed a number of those boats home. Subbase's oldest Los Angeles-class fast-attack submarine, USS Dallas, has undergone a significant maintenance period. My remarks say that Dallas is awaiting undocking, but Dallas has actually just undocked from shipping port and is having the opportunity to carry on her long legacy of deployments in support of freedom. Opposite Dallas on the pier is Subbase's newest Virginia-class submarine, USS North Dakota. North Dakota celebrated her commissioning in October 2014 and is now completing a dry deck shelter installation at Subbase. Our Navy and our submarine force remain fundamental to the defense, prosperity, and tranquility of this great nation. And we are here today in Groton, Connecticut, the submarine capital of the world. Today's Navy operates ships, obviously in the sea on ships, under the sea in submarines, and over the sea in aircraft, primarily from aircraft carriers. This ability to operate from the sea is extremely important. It gives the Navy the ability to project power and protect America and our interests anywhere in the world. Water covers 70% of our globe. Almost 80% of the world's population live near the ocean. 90% of all international trade goes via sea, and for you smartphone users, 95% of our international internet and phone traffic to and from the United States is carried through undersea fiber optic cables. So what happens in the world seas is critical to American security and prosperity. This afternoon as we speak, there are some 145 ships and submarines at sea and more than 3,700 aircraft ready for operations. They are forward deployed at the pointy end of the spear in the war on terrorism, ensuring strategic deterrence, maintaining sea control and maritime security, rendering humanitarian assistance, and supporting disaster response. Behind them is one of the greatest industrial bases in the world. And I want to recognize our friends from Electric Boat that may be celebrating with us here this afternoon. EB produces the world's greatest submarines, and those who take them to sea and in harm's way, we could not be more pleased with the product. Also, behind our sailor and civilian forces are the finest family and friends that any member of the Navy team could ask for. They provide love, patience, and understanding that allow us to do what we do. Without them 100% behind us, we couldn't carry out the missions that we do. So thank you to friends and family members out there. Thank you for celebrating our birthday with us today, but most importantly, thank you for supporting us every day. Please join me in a round of applause for recognition of their efforts. So as we celebrate the Submarine Force's birthday, last night we held the Submarine Birthday Ball with pomp, circumstance, and merriment. This afternoon we celebrate too, but we also remember. We acknowledge that there cannot be good without the bad, and there cannot be a celebration without sorrow. In fact, every day, here in the shadow of the Gold Star Memorial Bridge, hundreds of local residents and visitors pass this conning tower and polished granite wall that honor and bestow tribute to the submarine veterans of World War II in their memorial on the East Coast. And whether by design or by impulse, many stop and are drawn by these compelling visible reminders that liberty and prosperity have been purchased. Purchased by the sacrifice and service of 48 million men and women who since our nation's founding have donned the uniform and proudly stepped forward to defend our freedoms. For today's submarine force, our veterans embody such noble values of character as courage, compassion, and dedication, and they offer us a tremendous lesson in liberty. Submariners have exhibited quiet courage since those early days and dives following the Navy's purchase of inventor John Howland's Howland 4 submarine, April 11, 1900. They climb aboard a steely craft, close the hatch to the outside world, and venture into the vastness of the ocean and often the unknown. On April 10, 1863, that was indeed the case for those on board USS Thresher. Thresher was lost that day, going down with all hands, sinking off the New England coast. The loss of 129 officers, sailors, and civilian technicians was a tragedy for our Navy, our nation, and especially for the families of those lost. Thresher was the first in a class of submarines for the Navy, and first of always present unique challenges as well as opportunities. Thresher was designed to be the world's most modern, quiet, deep-diving attack submarine. And it was during deep diving trials some 200 miles east of Cape Cod when a crucial system failed. The loss of life on USS Thresher remains the worst submarine disaster in our nation's history. Among the 129 lost were a veteran submariner whose service began in World War II and extended into the Cold War, two brothers, and a young husband who had just learned he was about to become a father. Each of those 129 men left behind a grieving family and a hometown in sorrow. They did not die in vain. The Thresher disaster led directly to the Submarine Safety Program, also known as SubSafe, that ensures every submarine in today's submarine force undergoes rigorous testing to safeguard our submariners. Every safe voyage and every crisis and crucible survived since that terrible time is the legacy of the Thresher and those lost. The courage and sacrifice of those aboard the Thresher exemplify the devotion of all submariners, past and present, in their commitment to the mission. That Thresher was a technological marvel of a day, crewed and supported by men of courage, compassion, and dedication, speaks to a tenet that remains just as true today. The true strength of our Navy and our submarine force does not lie in any single submarine, sensor, or weapon. The true strength of our great nation and Navy lies in its men and women, America's finest. We see here today a number of young men holding flags. Next year at this time, there'll be women amongst their ranks. We've made the decision, after a long last, to open the submarine force to women. We've had officers on board submarines since November 2011, and this summer, the first class of enlisted women will, or the first enlisted women will join the classes at submarine school and be prepared to report to their submarines early next year. Our submariners follow an extraordinary legacy of honor, courage, and commitment. A legacy fashioned and forged by selfless service and sacrifice. A legacy passed on to them by those they follow. Many of those they follow are seated here today. They're the ones with the yellow hats or the blue hats and the vests. They were the ones that served before you. Take the opportunity to listen to their stories. Maybe not some of the liberty stories, but listen to the sacrifice that happened at sea. Listen to the fun that they had in the shared sacrifice. May we never forget USS Thresher and that long line of submarine veterans who've answered the call and given their all for 115 years. Today's force stands on the shoulders of these giants and heroes. Today, we need submariners whose commitment to their service and to their nation goes above their commitment to personal choice. We live in a nation where you can choose to do anything you want to do. You can choose to follow the rules. You can choose a way of honor, courage, and commitment, or you can choose other ways. But what I hope we're inspiring our submariners is that commitment that those that went before us had. That commitment to service. That commitment to dedication. That commitment to shipmate. That commitment to put aside your personal well-being for the welfare of your ship and the welfare of your shipmates. Before concluding, I'd be remiss if I didn't emphasize that today's submarine force could not do all that we do without the support of the American people. You entrust in us the service and safety of your sons and daughters. You treat us and our families like members of your families in communities that may be new to us and far from us. You bid us farewell in deployments and unhesitatingly support our loved ones that are left behind. You keep us in your hearts, thoughts, and prayers as we complete operations all over the globe. And you welcome us home again when our mission is done. You fellow Americans are our Navy's and submarine force's greatest advocates and champions. As we celebrate another birthday, we're extremely thankful for the gift that you give us every day, your unwavering support. Thank you to all, and happy birthday to the submarine force.